Leave these guys up there and just stand on the table. Yeah, good idea. We're going to stand on the table, mate.
How far will the table sink?
I hope it's not too far. Welcome to Kettle Park for this. We're doing a live commentary here today. I've got Mark Scully as comments man. This has been brought to you by Elevate Analysis, but it's also been brought to you by Mark today, the richest man in Australia, Chris Gallagher, who's actually in Melbourne with COVID, and he's watching this in his lounge room.
So he's pretty much funded this for his own purposes.
Pretty much, and he'll possibly be the only person watching. So, mate, what are we picking today? Pretty close game last week, 36-32. Dunedin got up scoring late 20s of points in the second half. So how do you see this going?
Look, I think, slightly biased perhaps, but I think common sense would say the way Dunedin played the second half, they should be strong. They've had a good year, but they're in unusual territory. They haven't been in the big league for a couple of years, so there'll be some nerves, and obviously John Leslie and Case Muse will have Southern well ready. But look, I think Dunedin, if they play well on forms, they finish second. They should be strong enough, but you never know. Knockout footy does funny things.
Yeah, that's right. So if Tyree, of course, if Tyree and Dunedin both go through the game at Watson Park today between Southern and Crikey comes defunct, and they'll both turn up and play next week. As we first five from Dunedin, Faliafaga puts it down to the 22. It's back into the hands of the skinniest man in club football. Mackenzie Hoare puts a nice kick down towards the 22, and that's a great kick from Mackenzie Hoare in the game, Mark Scully.
Not quite a 50-22, but he's the sort of kid that if he plays well, anything could happen. He's a match winner. We all know he can be good and bad, but a kid like him, if he turns it on, that could be the sort of thing that could be a thorn in Dunedin's side today. Yeah,
like he was good. He was really good in that first half last week. Set up a couple of their tries for them last week, and running him from the back for some injudicious kicking from Dunedin as Big Lalatiga goes high in the line out. Hami Toma is their go-to man in the midfield for Dunedin. And ball comes back, referees Woody says penalty. They might have been sealing off there, and this will be a kick right in front to first five, Jack Leslie. Could be early points on the board.
Yes, I mean, that's a classic example of the way modern rugby's played. Traditionally you would have kicked that out of your territory. They back themselves to run phases, but when you take the ball into contact in front of your sticks, and let's face it, the breakdown law is a lottery at some time. That's a risky run, and this is an early chance. Jack Leslie's had a great season. He's playing well, and a good chance to get an early lead here.
He's a kid that's come from, he wasn't even a first 15 player at Otago Boys, Mark. He was a second 15 kid. I think JL might have coached him there as well. But his rugby's come a long, long way.
Yeah, look, I think he's a classic example of he was quite a slight boy. A lot of schoolboy stars develop early and they're physically big, but he obviously persevered. He's got a good skill base. He came and played at Dunedin for a year in Colts rugby, and he's found his niche there. And at the end of the day, if you're skillful and you can kick your team around the paddock, it's a bit of a lost art in rugby in my opinion now. And he's really found his spot there this year. 3-0.
3-0. Jack Leslie. I'll just take that down as a note since I'm covering this for the ODT at the same time. So 3-0 to Southern early on in this game. Dunedin will be hoping that they don't blow out to 29 as they did last week in their game last week.
Here's Jockey doing his 1000th game for Southern.
I think he's probably done his 2000th game today. There was a good story in the ADT today. There was a guy, I can't remember the guy's name.
30 seasons.
30 seasons, over 400 games for
great effort.
for the Tubi Town out at the Eels, which was a great effort. He's turned 50 last year. Ball comes back on the southern side, right on their own 22. Looking for Jack Leslie again. He's put that kick down to Ben Paku, the young Dunedin fullback out of King's High School from last year, who had a big win today, Mark, over your old school, Southland Boys.
Yeah, I heard that result. I also witnessed the Magpies Otago Boys game. Magpies came away 47-19, very good performance. The Otago Boys rallied late with a couple of good tries, but no, Magpies look very good. Stu Forster and Russ Lundy have got them playing well, and they've got some size up front, which is not always the Magpies way. But no, they were deserved winners today.
Well, they would be. Look, they're unbeaten this year, and I think that everybody else has beaten each other. So Otago Boys have won, Southland Boys and Kings. You'd have to say that John McGlashan, I don't think they've won a banner since you were coaching them, Mark.
Thanks for bringing that up, Paul. Very timely. No, look, they look the goods this year. They've got some good pedigree. There's a Timu, there's a Fonga, there's Charlie Hall and Belinda Collins, Lindsay Breen's sons in the team. And like I said, they've got a bit of size up front this year, and they really were dominant today. They played very well.
It's a good carry from Big Ed White, the number 8, the lock for Dunedin. Back to the Kalahari Bushman's son. And one man, he only knows one way. That's a nice wee charge from the big number 8. Ball comes back to the co-captain for Dunedin, Gene Tiamo. Goes over the halfway right in front of us, looking for runners. And they're going to go wide, and this time it's Big Ed White again. He's through the whole Ed White, up towards the 10-metre line, goes to ground. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Again, the Kalahari Bushman sons got it. And a nice wee kick over the top from Faliafaga, puts it into the 22. But the winger manages to drag that back in. That could be Keardan Hatch.
Spiral punt. Beautiful kick.
Who was that, Mark?
That was Jack Leslie. Underutilised in the modern game, the spiral punt, Paul.
Yeah, no,
beautiful kick up to halfway.
That was very, very tidy. I'll just let you talk for a sec while I put these scores through to the ODT.
I think one thing we're seeing already, Paul, is how extremely flat the defence is. And personally, I'd like that tidied up a wee bit. I think it's one of the curses of rugby. The defence is just not necessarily offside, but very, very flat. I'd like to see them take half a metre and open the game up a wee bit. Again, Army Tomer up the middle for Dunedin. Good quick ball for Devon Bell.
And a kick over the top goes down to Mackenzie Hoare at fullback. What's he going to do? He's going to run. He's going. He's gone. He's just straight through again. Will-o'-the-wisp stuff. Ball comes back on the southern side. But good carry there
offside.
From Jake McEwen.
Just as I said, they were flat. He's caught Dunedin up offside. Playing under advantage. Zingery.
And there's a nice big hit from second 5. Ben Shepherd, referee says we'll come back for the penalty. Good start from Southern.
Yeah, they're doing nothing wrong, are they? They're hitting their phases, making their tackles, and forcing penalties at the breakdown, and chance for Jack Leslie to poke them into the corner. This is the sort of pressure Southern will want to build. Good simple footy. It's the stuff JL knows. Play the corners. Keep the ball on hand.
Just had a text from the richest man in Melbourne who's saying he can't believe he's actually sponsoring this commentary. But we wouldn't. But Mark, as you know, you and I wouldn't be doing it unless he had paid.
No, and if he's not sitting having a nice big scapegrace gin listening to it, I'd be very disappointed.
Yeah, well, I do hear he's got COVID as well, just for good measure. So I hope you get well soon, Gags. Okay, so Southern to force this line out in the 22. And it's Jake McEwen to throw. He's found his big man in the middle in Corbin Agar. And this is a nice drive from Southern. Can Dunedin hold them out? Nice drive from Southern. They're only 5-6 metres out now. Still going. This is a very nice drive. Dunedin starting to stabilise a bit now, but Southern's still going forward. They've got couple of extra backs in there. They're creeping towards the line here. This looks very, very disconcerting. Now they've been held up. Ball comes back. Ineson's picked it up. Only 2 or 3 metres away. They've got numbers over the ball, Southern. They'll be looking for a forward charge. Again, they charge towards the line. Dunedin try and get over the top of that. Referee Withy said it's fine. Comes back on the Southern side. Again, they go out. It's Taylor this time, the number 6. Very impressive last week, Taylor from the Southland boy. Again, they charge at the line.
Penalty. Again, he's got Dunedin offside.
Again, and that was the big number 8 this time. Now, where they get Mika Murphy, it was. Ball comes back on the Southern side. They go wide. They've got numbers. They've got a score here, and they do. Go in out wide. Similar to last week. And that was Dylan Hook, who scored a few tries for Southern this year, and he goes over in the corner unmarked, and the score springs out to 8 points to zip.
Yes, a flailing mullet on the left wing for Southern. but again, untouched. And look, it was pretty simple stuff, and that's the problem Dunedin will have today. You look at that Southern pack, they've got some good size, and coaching and playing against Southern over the years, when Southern get it right, it's very hard to counter. You know, they've played it smart, they've kicked in the corners, they've got good size, and it's bloody hard to combat that. Dunedin are going to have to get busy at the breakdown. I know that they're missing young Oliver, who's the flanker? Oliver Griffin.
Yeah,
he's
Oliver
away.
Griffin's
He was playing well. He was a genuine scavenger for Dunedin. That's where they're going to have to come and get some dominance at the breakdown, because if Southern just continue to win their own ball with their size and structure, it'll be hard to counter.
Okay, so it's Jack Leslie. He's only a half a metre in from touch here, just outside the 22. Can he put this between the six to give them a 10-point lead? Very handy 10-point lead, 10 minutes gone, point-a-minute stuff. And he has dragged it away. So 8-0, Southern over Dunedin in the 10 minutes gone in this game. And just as we speak, it's University 3, Tyree 0 out on the plains.
So there was a significant breeze here, Paul, but we all know at Dunedin, the wind seldomly blows for the same direction for 80 minutes. So Southern making most of the conditions, playing it smart, sun at their back, wind at their back, playing it in Dunedin territory at this stage.
And Dunedin need to get their hands on the ball here and get themselves back into the game. Back to Jack Leslie again. It's on the 22, and that's another nice kick from Jack Leslie. He's
again,
really
though, Paul,
got that working well.
3 kicks in a row they've kicked long, and they've had the ball hammered back into their own half. I'll be looking for a change of tactic.
Yeah.
You know, kicking into the wind, down to the 22, giving him a free catch and kick. Not smart from Dunedin.
Just as I update the scores to the ODT. And this line out to form just inside the 10 metre line of Dunedin, and they go to the back, and it's been well picked up there. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side, looking for runners again. It's Harmy Toma.
Blake Rogers just down in front of us taking some advice from Jock, the Southern strapper. That's been going on for years, Paul.
Yeah, that's right. We've had a lot of that over the years, Mark. To be fair, and that's ended up being
all his trouble. Kicks back.
And he's
good defence, Joe. We probably overdid it into the touch a little bit. Good chase from Joe Cook. Bundles Hoare into touch, and there's a bit of a how's your father?
Bit of a tate. Joe Cook, mate, what do you make of Joe Cook? Come down from Auckland last year, top try scorer in Auckland rugby last year, and have you seen a lot of him playing for Dunedin this year?
I've seen, yeah. Look, he looks the part. He's big and strong. He's a very good defender. Top end pace at the top level, not sure, but look, a lot of very good players have lacked a touch of pace and still gone a long way in the game. He probably needs to get a bit busier for me. Like, he's a big boy. He should be carrying the ball in the midfield. Big lad, but he would need to continue to play well the next 2 or 3 weeks to be in the picture, I'd imagine.
Yeah, watched him last week, Mark. Aerially, he's really good. He's really good there. And that Dunedin have lost that line out.
Knocked on Southern.
Referee says knock on Dunedin scrum. So what can Dunedin do
So this is a good example, Paul. This scrum is made for Joe Cook to come into our back line.
Yeah.
It's on his side of the touch, coming off HA's shoulder.
So we were supposed to have a bite today. Yeah, but
Best tackler. I've just seen a little shark go past with the W, Paul. That means he made the most tackles for the day.
And he was number 11, Mark, which was left winger. So that's he's obviously going to have to go into the forwards in some stage in his career. He just can't stay out there and waste his talent in the backs. Okay, scrum here finally to form. And it's Devon Oliver Bell to feed the scrum. His old man might be happy, of course, in playing for Dunedin, Mark, being the Kalahari Bushman, being a good Southern man in his career in Dunedin.
Well, varsity first and then Southern, but yeah, no, exactly. He must have married a Catholic, Paul.
Well, didn't he marry the really good hockey player?
Well, they were good. His sister was.
Oh, his sister was.
His sister was a New Zealand hockey player.
That was Tina Bell. Was
Tina Kakabell.
Right.
Yeah, she was a very good hockey player.
But at the same time, the Kalahari Bushman's been out of the club a few times. I think he's let it go. He's quite happy to be a Shark these days.
He's definitely moved on, Paul.
Yeah.
Definitely moved on.
Righto, so referee Woody says we'll reset. It's a big... now, this Jake McEwen, is this a kid out of...
He's come out of Wakatip. Yep. Is he the hooker?
Yes, he is the hooker.
Yeah, big boy. Actually, just looking at... Charlie Perkins is a big tall drink too, isn't he, on the side of the flat?
Yeah, good Southland family, the Perkins.
Famous...
But he's
Stu,
been,
Tony, Ross, good,
yes,
all
good Maris men in their day. But in fact, Stu Perkins, I'd imagine Stu Perkins will be watching this on TV somewhere. Him and Gags. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side, out to Faliafaga. And they found a hole.
Good line.
Ben Paku, straight through Paku. good pace from the young fullback out of King's High School. And there was a knock on there. Referee might have to go to the card here.
Double whistle,
yes,
double blow, deliberate knock on.
I think he's going to get 10. And I think that was, of course, none other than Mackenzie Hoare, I think.
Yeah, look, as a rugby supporter.
No, it's not Mackenzie Hoare, is it?
Yep.
It is.
There's not much in that, but the way the rule is now, if you attempt to intercept, you knock the ball on, it's pretty much a yellow card, whether we agree with it or not.
Yeah.
As long as the ref's consistent, I've got no problem with that. Righto,
so Dunedin to throw to this line out. Harry Press, out from varsity last year. He's the hooker and he's the captain of this Dunedin side. He had a couple of injury problems earlier on in the round, but he's come back reasonably well. They said he was going to be out for the season, but he was only out for 2 or 3 weeks. And an inspirational captain for this Dunedin side. So Harry Press to throw to this line out. And they'll be looking for the line out drive, I would imagine. And,
found their man.
Yes, big Conrad did well there, and they've got the drive going. Can they get
straight through?
Can they get
try?
There? Try. Pretty simple stuff. And who has scored that try? Hard to know.
Ryan Wingham, I think.
Could have been Ryan
Wingham.
Yep,
he's getting the pats.
He's getting the pats on the back. So that's the yet another young Kings boy, and it was late of the Highlander under-20s mark, and a very impressive future in front of this kid.
I think when we look at the quality of kids coming out of King's High School, we're very lucky that Dave Conrad's an administrator, not a coach.
Well, he was, and when he was coaching, Mark, he was a supervisor at best.
Correct.
Try from Maul. And that's after probably, say, 15 minutes of the first half. So it's 8-5 with the kick to come. And it's little Faliafaga, AJ, to have the shot at goal.
So what we're seeing already, Paul, is just the fact that rugby's a simple game. Southern did everything right for 10 minutes and scored almost effortlessly. Dunedin come back and do the same thing. If you hold the ball and be patient, win your breakdowns and stay patient, it's very, very hard to disrupt that in the way rugby's played these days. And hopefully, that's what we're going to see the All Blacks do tonight against Ireland. Starve them of ball, keep their big forward ball runners out of the game.
Well, I'm, you and I have talked about this game during the week. In fact, we might have a bet on this game. I think I've taken Ireland as Faliafaga lines that up, and he's missed it. It's 8-5. Southern 3 points clear. Yeah, look, I haven't been impressed with the All Blacks over the last few games they've played, and I wasn't very impressed with the squad that was picked, and I wasn't that impressed with the team they put out tonight. But do you think they can get it done?
Yeah, look, I think Eden Park, I think the All Blacks will win. Perhaps that's just my loyalty and my biasness, but I do think there are some serious concerns. I think Whitelock at 4 and Retallick, I think they're good players. They're getting a bit older. Scott Barrett at 6, surely he'll go into lock for one of those guys. But that's been tried before and been proven. At least we've got Kane, a genuine open side today. The midfield is not the midfield I'd like to see. I think Rieko Ione is a winger. He's probably the best winger in the world. I'd love him to play there. But to be fair to Foster, we don't know the injuries and the COVID status. We know Will Jordan's out. I don't think he's got a choice of picking Akira Ioane. I think there's other loose foot injuries. So, perhaps his hand's been forced, but yeah, Scott Barrett at 6 and Tupai and Ione in the midfield would be a concern for me. Yeah,
and just to give you an update around the grounds, it was an early 3-0 to varsity out at Peter Johnson Park, but Torrey have scored a try. It's now 5-3. And in the early running out at Harbour, Kaikoura up 12-0 over Harbour. Kaikorai up 12-0 over Harbour. And of course it's 8-5 here out at Shark Park with Dunedin to feed the scrum. And just out there, 10 metres outside their own 22. Devon Bell finds Shepherd. He only knows one way. Just smacks it up the middle. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Again looking for runners or looking for a kicker. And they go back to Faliafaga, who gets caught behind the advantage line. He gets the ball out to big Oscar Schmidt-Uli, who has been they need to get the ball to him, Mark. He's got some real gas out wide. And that's another nice pick-up. But he's had it stripped. Big Ed White's had that stripped clean. Pretty loose carry. Ball comes back to Southern, and that's a nice wee run from Jordan Dwight, the ginger.
You'd have to say the way Dunedin played, Devon Bell very quick at the back of the base, but it's only effective if you've got runners ready in place. If you've got to wait and reset, that part of his game becomes ineffectual. So, Dunedin have to be organised, have to have their runners in place, then they can take advantage of how quick Devon Bell clears the ball from the base of the scrum.
What's he calling here? He's gone back. It looks like he's possibly going back for a penalty.
Yeah, it was a pretty average cross kick from Southern, which has actually come off the shoulder of the Dunedin wing, Joe Cook, but the touch judges come in from the far side, so that's never good.
Oh no, anything could happen.
This could go either way, because he could go back and penalise Dunedin, of course, because Southern didn't really have an advantage, or we may have seen some foul play that we weren't privy to.
Harry Press has gone over just to get a bit closer to the action to see what's going on.
Just a wee aside, Paul, just for gags' sake, a lovely story. Harry Press is 21 this year, friend of my daughter's, and all he requested for his 21st was a bottle of scapegrace gags.
Which is important. I mean, and there's no sense of biasness towards scapegrace in this box, and there certainly isn't Melbourne either, Mark. So what are we calling here? He's going to talk to Southern. He's talking to Harry Taylor. So what's going on? We've obviously missed it. Obviously Harry Taylor's done something wrong.
It's come from the far touch judge, so obviously
something
I suspect
at that
the breakdown,
yeah.
or they left the breakdown. He hasn't whipped a card out immediately, but he's certainly giving him a decent lecture, and a yellow card. There it is now.
So that's 2 yellow cards. So they're down to, all of a sudden they're down to 13. This is not the script that JL would have been looking for. Dunedin really need to capitalise on this. And according to the ODT, Mark, the Dunedin team haven't had a yellow card against them all year.
I read that. It was an amazing statistic. Yeah.
Well, they did come to see me about it, and they said that was in the stats, but I said, well, I don't remember us getting a yellow card, so it's probably right. So that's a good shout out to the discipline.
Just we're on the ODT, Paul, I'd like to take the chance publicly to congratulate Hayden Meikle. I mentioned to you earlier, I thought his opening paragraph on the very nice story about young James Arscott was magnificent writing.
Some of the great prose you were describing it as.
Whiskey will have to be content to mature in the shadows, I thought was nothing short of brilliant writing.
Very untidy, but untidy from Southern as well as they put that down. Picked up by Josh Redder, who's probably been Dunedin's best this year. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Looking for runners, they've gone out wide. It's Paku again. Paku through the hole, then he gets foot tripped. Goes to ground. It wasn't an illegal foot trip, by the way. Ball comes back on the again, but
low pass from
Case Scott's put it down.
Opportunity lost there, really. Good break from Paku.
Well, as you can see, look, I've watched him play a bit for the Dunedin Mako this year, and he's extremely quick. But he was through that hole.
He certainly had a couple of nice gaps already. And I guess, when you've got a big, solid midfield like Ben Shepherd and Gene Tiamo, their job is to take the ball up strong and have the likes of him sniping off their shoulder. If they're big enough to carry, there should be opportunities there.
And just to let you know, Varsity have gone back in front 6-5 over Torrey. 2 penalties to the 1 try. A bit closer than I thought at the early stages out there. Obviously Ricky Jackson, the Crusader, is obviously making a bit of a difference for them. Ball comes back on the Southern side. They get it back to Jack Leslie, and he's had his kick partially charged.
Onside.
It looks like Gene Tiamo's knocked that on in the air. Referee says no, we'll come back for the scrum.
Yes, so just some wee key moments here that, perhaps that was an opportunity there. To be fair to Gene, it was a pretty tough ball to take. It was contested in the air, but they're the moments, a charge down. If you reclaim the ball on the opposition 22, as it is, Southern to feed the scrum about their 22. Chance to clear the line.
And just remember, they've actually got 2 guys in the bin, so 19-0 to Kaikorai, and Harbour down to 14. So that's a great start from Kaikorai out at Watson Park.
So that's the game that they can both go through, isn't it?
Correct. If Dunedin and Torrey both win, that's correct. So it could be superfluous, but this game is looking very tight.
Yes, if I was Harbour, I wouldn't be putting my eggs in this basket just yet.
Yes. Righto, so it's Southern. It's the we have no Wilson driver today for Southern. He got a knock on his knee last week against Dunedin and couldn't front up today. So they've got one of these young Japanese boys out of Shibata Ryoto, who is starting today he's one of these 6 or 7 kids that Greg O'Brien has purported to have brought out from Japan.
Well, he's certainly been tight. He's done nothing wrong yet. I think we'll have to keep an eye on him.
Okay.
Penalty to Dunedin.
It looks like they'll go to the corner. Faliafunga put us down in the corner.
This breeze continues to build at Shark Park.
It's across the field though, Mark. Is it fit for the feel of
sort
that?
Of blowing into the clubhouse corner What it will do, it'll make Jack O'Day's new corduroy pants very important.
Well, I felt that was a fashion statement today when we saw him arriving in corduroys. Are they back in?
I don't know. There's an awful lot of corduroy in them, though.
Yeah. And it's Harry Press to throw to this line out. Where did Dunedin go? And that's been stolen at the front.
Not enough, honestly.
No, that just...
elaborate stuff at the back of the line out, and they lose the ball.
At the front of the line out.
Just throw it to the front and win the ball.
Ball comes back on the southern side. Jack Leslie, educated boot. Another nice nudge.
Yeah,
another very good nudge from Jack Leslie.
Good kick up to halfway.
But yeah, you're right. That's untidy. They were looking to throw that to the back, or the middle of the back, and that line out, and they just didn't get it over the man at 2.
I mean, I understand the thinking. They'll be trying to build something off 6, a willy away or a move, but you got to secure the ball before you get too far ahead of yourself. And it's that ball on the opposition 22 that you've got to take.
And the thing about Ed White at the front of the line out, mate, he's just about unbeatable there at the front of the line. That's where they should be going.
So look at a penalty there, holding on the break. He's got it. Penalty advantage Dunedin.
It's Rowan Wingham takes it forward. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. We've fumbled there, but it's back in the hands of Faliafaga. He's put a wee kick over the top, but referee says we'll come back for the penalty.
Aimless kick, but to be fair, he had the advantage, so he knew he was playing under amnesty. Penalty to Dunedin.
So Faliafaga to put it down this croquet side touchline. It's a beautiful day here today, Mark. There's not a lot of breeze, but it's a wee bit of a breeze across the paddock. But it's a very balmy summer's day.
Oh, and the ground conditions are nigh on perfect. There's absolutely no excuse. Ground's in great nick. And yeah, there's a little breeze, but very good kick there from AJ into the corner. And we see Mackenzie Hall back from the bin.
And it's 19-7 now. Looks like Harbour have scored down there, so 19-7, Kike over Harbour. And they're back to 14, still with one on the bin. They've still got whoever they've got on the bin. Okay, so it's again Dunedin to throw to this line, back where they were 3 or 4 minutes ago. Harry Press, they go to the back, and it's very untidy.
This is not. That's the same call twice in a row, and the opposition 22, same result.
You know, that's just untidy football. And that's a big kick down the middle of the field, but luckily it's bounced and then he's fallen over. Ben Paku, eventually he'll pick this up. And then he finds touch. Or does he? Yes, he does.
A good kick, a good return kick to be fair, but still a good net gain for Southern.
Yep.
Line out halfway.
You know, that's untidy from Dunedin. That's 2 line-outs now, both attacking line-outs in the 22. And just not getting it down. But to be fair, he did hit Charlie Perkins, who dropped it. But it was dying on him. So my question is, why are they throwing that far? Anyway, so it's Jake McEwen to throw to this line out. And that's well taken in the middle by big number 5, Aaron Ineson. And it's Mika Murphy making the hole in midfield. Ball comes back on the southern side, looking for runners. It's big Mike Mata'afa who takes it up.
Good offload.
That's a nice tackle, but it comes back on the southern side. Leslie's looking for a hole. All he does is find Lotto Liga for Dunedin.
Dunedin very lucky not to be penalised for being offside then, in my opinion.
And here's Mike Mata'afa again, the big prop. Ball comes back again on the southern side. Again, they go wide into the midfield. They got numbers here. It's out to number 11, who is Dylan Hook. It's a big solid boy, Dylan Hook. Ball comes back on the southern side again in the hands of Jack Leslie, looking for a runner. This time he's found Sonny Malapola. Referee says forward pass. And we've got a man down. And that could be Mika Murphy looking at that.
Yeah, that was the big run. He made a nice run, but he's often hit hard in the tackle. Jack Leslie very bemused by the forward pass call.
They couldn't afford to lose him this early in the game. I think Ned Penne, son of Aaron Penne, might be his replacement if he has to come off. Another boy out of varsity, transferred to the Southern club, probably for ludicrous amounts of money.
He's a good boy, Ned, out of the varsity club. One of 3 Penne boys that have come down and plied their trade in Dunedin while attending Otago University. I think they're all a bit smarter than their father. They're sort of all getting degrees and leaving quickly.
Well, they wouldn't be hard to be smarter than his father, Mark, let's be honest. He's, I'm not sure if he's up, but he doesn't look that good. It's 26-7 now down at Harbour. 26-7 to Kaikorai over Harbour. It's a
walking back gingerly. It looks like he's going to continue, but he's certainly not comfortable. Might it be a hamstring or a hip injury? Upper leg by the looks of it.
He's got his knee heavily strapped too, but anyway, they're going to have the scrum. It's going to be a Dunedin scrum right on halfway from that forward pass. So, yeah, it's like 8-5, not a lot in it, but Southern have probably had the best of the first 20-odd minutes, 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, I think they've played it cleverly territory-wise. Possession's probably about even, but yeah, I think Southern have perhaps had the best of it. You do get the feeling if Dunedin can be patient and build some phases, they're possibly more mobile in the big Southern pack, but he who controls the ball sets the pace of the game.
Okay, so of course there's still a man down, of course, so Taylor's still in the bin. Ball goes to ground, referee says we'll reset. Oh no, it's not Taylor that's in the bin. In fact, I think it's actually might be the hooker mark, is it? No, I can't work it out. Both locks are there. Have they got their reserve hooker on? I think they have.
Yes, they have. It's the hooker.
So it's got to be Jake McEwen that's actually in the bin down there. Righto, here we go. This time, Dunedin defeats the scrum. Probably 25 gone first half, 8-5. Southern up over Dunedin with that wee breeze possibly behind them. Ball comes back. Joe Cook's got it. What's Joe Cook going to do? Nice tackle from the winger. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side into the hands of Lotto Liga, and he's found Case Scott, who barrels it up towards halfway.
Penalty advantage. Again, they're off. So both sides are extremely flat. In my opinion, it could be a penalty every phase.
So Charlie Perkins took that forward, but you're right, and the touch judges are all over that. And it'll be Faliafaga to kick it away down this side of the field, hopefully to find touch. And hopefully for Dunedin to actually win a line out as the ball sails into the croquet rink. How many 8,000? It must be like 8 or 9,000 balls in that croquet court after the last 20 years. So Harry Press under a bit of pressure at line out time. Oh, and that's very untidy again.
It's actually knocked on by Southern at the front of the line out though.
But
again, Dunedin not finding their target.
No, that's very. That's 3 line-outs now, and that's 3 line-outs out of the last 5 for Dunedin.
Here's our man back from the bid now, McEwen.
So they're now back to 15. They've done a great job, for 2 men down for 10 minutes, and they're still up 8-5. Didn't concede a point in that time. And the Harry Dwight, the flanker, was it Harry Dwight? Jordan Dwight's come back on, and that means the replacement hooker, which is Jack Taylor, is gone back to the subs bench.
So Jack Taylor, he's another product out of Southland. Well, I assume he's a brother.
He's the younger brother.
I've seen him play a lot of games for Southland. He's a very good footballer, very promising. I think he's in the Highlanders cult setup. He looks a very promising player.
Well, the Harry Taylor, I've watched Harry Taylor now for a couple of years, Mark, and I think he's one of the best loose forwards going around. Very tough kid. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Referee says penalty.
He's penalised the Dunedin scrum for going to ground here.
Which was interesting.
He's had a bit of pressure on the side, though, the last couple of feeds, but I'm not going to start commenting on front row penalties, Paul.
No, it's all of it. It's all. I can't even work out tight head from loose head, Mark. It's just quite complicated. Again, another great kick from. He must have a bit of a breeze behind him because he is getting it.
There's quite a strong breeze up there.
Yeah. So that's another nice kick though from Harry Taylor. Jack Leslie. Big Mike Mataafa. He fills out a jersey, walking to the line out. And it's Jake McEwen to throw to this line out when they finally got a ball.
So you look at the Dunedin line out, it continues this range of sort of good, solid athletes without a lot of height. Without Fabian Holland there, the Dunedin line out is struggling. I see overnight the New Zealand side
won by 70 today.
Fiji, Dunedin product, George Bell, captain and 2 tries. He certainly looks to be heading in the right direction, Paul.
Yeah, well, he's a very good footballer, that George Bell. He's going to go a long way. And, of course, his brother, of course, plays for the Otago team. He'll be playing down there to Kaikorai today. He's also a hooker, but he was a converted loose forward. And the ball comes out to Harry Taylor. He does well to hold on to that. Ball comes back on the southern side. And it's big number 4 in Corbin Agar taking it forward. Ball comes back again. Jack Leslie's got it, looking for a hole. Just not there for him. Again, well wrapped up by Conrad Lalutiga. And then Ed White gets over the top of that, but it's still coming back on the southern side. Looking for numbers. And it's the 15 to get it out wide, and does so. Puts it into the hands of number 1, which is Sonny Mullapola, who was also well tackled. Ball comes back on the southern side again. Jack Leslie puts the weak kick over the top. Oh, he let that bounce. What was he thinking?
Yeah, that's a Colt.
And then he's lost it.
That's a Colt boy playing Premier Rugby, I'm afraid. There's no need to let that bounce. He could have easily got to the ball.
And the Southern have turned that over. He did have his arm out for a knock-on, but he's now decided it's not a knock-on. And it's Southern again, coming forward through Corden Agar. Now he's got them a penalty. He's got them offside. Ball comes back to Jack Leslie. Go out in the midfield. They go wide here. They find the big man, but he's well wrapped up by Joe Cook, who does a great job and takes him to ground. Ball comes back on the southern side. Need to roll away to Dunedin. They do now. Looking for runners. They found McEwen. McEwen charges up towards the 22. Goes to ground. Jet Redder all over the top of that. Comes back on the southern side. Murphy goes wide. Jack Leslie spots a hole, but dragged down on the 22, right in the middle of the field. Comes back to Southern again. Again they find runners. This time it's Taylor. Breaks over the 22. Goes 3 or 4 yards. Comes back on the southern side. Again, they're looking for numbers. Again, it's McEwen, the hooker. And that's a nice run from McEwen. 15, 16 metres out now. They're looking for numbers. They've found Dwight, the open side ginger for Southern. Ball goes to ground, comes back. Again, they find Mullapola, who takes it towards the goal line. Ball goes to ground. Referee says come back for the penalty. And it's right in front. That's meat and drink. That'll be 11-5.
And that phase of play, we saw the Southern hooker McEwen carry the ball 2 or 3 times. I never saw him play for Wakatipu, but I watched Wakatipu Club Rugby last week, Central Rugby. He must have been a handful in the Central Otago competition because he's having a very good game here.
He's quite a big kid.
Yeah.
They've got a history of hookers coming to town. I mean, if you remember, Kay Scott played for Cromwell Mark. He was a hooker. He's come to Dunedin.
Unbelievable. Southern are taking the scrum.
I don't think why
right in front
would
of the post
you not
with the wind at your back and knockout footy.
In a quarter final, you don't take the 3 points.
I think it's a brave call. Who knows? They might score and prove us wrong. But if it was me, I'd have been poking the 3 over. I think right in front of the sticks. They give me 3 points.
It's what's happening around the grounds. It looks like it's 13-5. Varsity over Tyree. It's still 26-7 in the other game.
So that's starting to become a significant result. If Tyree were to lose and Dunedin to lose, Dunedin will be out.
Correct.
That would be a safeguard that I hope they had up their sleeve, that the loser of this, Southern could beat Dunedin. Dunedin would still go through, but not if Tyree lose.
Righto, so Rioto to feed the scrum. Hand off the number 8 to Rioto. Rioto looking for a runner. He's got Jack Les. He's got numbers. That's going to score. That's just
Beautiful
too easy.
Try. Great try.
Just too easy.
The wee Japanese halfback was very tidy. Threw a nice pass to Leslie. Again, Mackenzie Hall's speed, just chiming up on the outside. Dunedin didn't touch him.
And there was a very acrobatic dive over the line to score from Mackenzie Hall. This is getting very similar to last week, Mark. And that's he scored right in the corner. 13-5, kick to come.
Yeah, that was a little bit easy, really. I'm not sure whether the Dunedin blindside was impeded, but that was a pretty straightforward 8-9,
yep.
And really he was untouched.
Just didn't get numbers off. So Dunedin have certainly got some work to do now. 13-5 down. Remember, Tyree are also 13-5 down in that game out at, and if they lost that game, Dunedin would be gone as well.
You have to give credit to the Southern tight 5 there, though. They provided a wonderful platform, good steady scrum. Obviously, Dunedin will be looking to disrupt that and try and get some turn on the scrum, but no, the Southern front 5 were very solid, and they gave the boys a nice ball to run off the back of.
Well, Chris Gallagher will be ruining the fact he's given the money towards this commentary now. He'll be rolling around on the floor in Melbourne now after watching this. 13-5, kick to come. Can Jack Leslie nail this one from right on the touchline, 2 metres outside the 22? And that looks a nice kick. And
Beautiful
he's drained
kick.
it.
Struck it beautifully. Great kick. Great kick, Jack Leslie.
So converted Leslie, 15-5, and we have got possibly 4 or 5 minutes till half time. Let me just send that to the ODT.
Again, we kick long.
Straight to Leslie.
Catches it, wind at his back, kicks it down into our half. Doesn't find touchdown.
It's a nice run this time. He's got right through up towards the 22. Good run from Paku. Now they've got out wide. It's Hami Toma over on that side. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side, but it's very slow coming back. Referee's got his arm out for yet another penalty. This time to Dunedin though. They get it out to Paku again. Paku trying to find a hole, but no, it's not there for him. Again, it's coming back, but it's a bit slow. Retta, the open side for Dunedin, picks it up, goes forward. Back in the hands of Devon Bell. He finds Rowan Wingham. They're right out in the middle of the field. Faliafunga's got it now. He's got Hami Toma. It's a wee bit static. Ball goes to ground. Comes back on the Dunedin side. Who are they looking for now?
Long advantage if it still exists.
Rowan Wingham. Ball comes back again. Picked up by Ed White. He's got the ball in one hand. I don't like it. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. And this time it's Case Scott. But that's beautiful defence. But he still goes forward, Scott. It's a good second effort. Ball comes back to White. Faliafunga. There's no hole there for Faliafunga. He goes to ground. It looks like is that penalty over. And now he's changed penalties. That's unusual. They normally go back for the penalty.
He obviously called the advantage over. Now, I've got to say, people are quick to criticise the referees. I think Logan Withy's doing a good job of this. He could even give out more penalties. You know, I do think that flat defence is stifling the game, and he could be penalising one of these two teams every breakdown, in my opinion.
It's a 15-5, and there was just no hole there for Faliafunga. They just was sort of devoid of ideas. He just took the tackle, and he really shouldn't. A man of his size, he should have been looking for something to hand that off to somebody.
No, he's a big boy. That's Jake McEwen up close, Paul.
He is solid. Southern to throw right down in front of us. They go to Taylor. That certainly wasn't straight, but the referee says it's fine. Ball comes back to the big Mika Murphy, who goes to ground. Dunedin got over the top of that, then lost it. Ball comes back to Leslie, looking for runners out wide. They've put a wee kick through in the midfield. Somebody's finally caught it, which is good, which is Paku. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Where do they go from here? This time it's Case Scott again, driving it up towards the... Oh, and then a very untidy play. Ed White takes it up. Ball comes back. Looking for runners. Where are they going to go? They're going to come Case Scott again. They didn't release him that time. Oh, yes, I was going to say, what are they doing?
Yeah, off the deck.
Penalty to Dunedin.
Well, half-time approaching. I think the game's in the balance because there is a significant breeze here. I think discipline's going to be important. There's a lot of penalties been given out, but in my opinion, rightly so. He's doing a good job of that, policing the offside. You'd have to say, though, Paul, I think we've seen a side in Southern coached by a couple of boys that have played a lot of rugby in their day, and they've done nothing dumb. They've just played smart footy, played to their limitations. It's been a pretty tidy performance from Southern.
Yeah, they've done. They did what they do. They haven't scored as many points as last week, but when they've got their hands on the ball, they haven't turned it over, which the same can't be said for Dunedin. And again, we've found a couple of balls, and it's going to be.
I think
Harry
Ian Sharp
Press.
might have just thrown that one back.
Good work. So here he is, Harry Press. What are they going to do at line-out time here? They haven't had a line-out for a while. They've lost 3 of their last 4. This time they go again to the back, but Charlie Perkins drags that down. They're out into the midfield. They've got runners out wide and Paku. Paku goes to ground just outside the 22. And then they've just lost it cold again. Very untidy play at that breakdown. And then Shibato puts the weak kick over the top. That's a great kick because there's nobody back there. And he's just strolling after that. And now it's a standing maul, and they've turned that over. This is just some awful play from Dunedin, and a great play from Southern, and they get the scrum. very average performance
came
again.
from a nice half break from Paku, but then he lost the ball as he went to ground. Look, I think he's going to be an exciting player for Dunedin, but as a young fella, you know, it's always a bit hot and cold, but that's where the gap was. He was the fullback, coughed it up, and the halfback quickly summed up the situation. A good long kick and a very effective chase from Southern. They got Joe Cook, lifted him up off the ground, forced a turnover. You'd have to say a wonderful attacking opportunity for Southern just on half time here.
Well, I mean, if we looked at that last scrum they had, where they just did the simple 8-9 and just had numbers out wide, Dunedin will certainly have to mark up better than they did the last time they were here.
Well, I think the key for Dunedin, you know, if
loose forwards have got to come off quicker.
Yeah, well, I think our front row, you know, Rowan Wingham's highly rated, got a good strong hooker. Dunedin have to try and disrupt the Southern set piece, but we know Southern are big, they're experienced, and right now they're providing a good platform for their halfback and backs to run off.
And it is young Rioto to feed the scrum. Couldn't find his name there for a minute. Lost it. Because Wilson Driver was supposed to start here today for Southern. He's their starting halfback, but he hurt his knee in this game against Dunedin last week. I just talked to him before the game. He was pretty disappointed. Just hadn't recovered enough for him to play this week.
Delay here, but I mean, I think a telling factor, Paul, probably Dunedin's best strike weapon, Oscar Uli Schmidt on the left wing. I don't know if he's touched the ball, has he?
I don't think he's touched the ball once, and it's defensively.
In perfect conditions, we need to get the ball in his hands.
He's certainly the fastest man on this paddock.
Half kick at the breakdown, so Dunedin's starting to have scrum troubles.
Here we go, and it's Dwight. Dwight just keeps on running. Then he gets taken to ground by Rowan Wingham. Ball comes back on the Southern side. And they'll be looking to score here. It's McEwen, the big hooker. He goes to ground and go the Southern forwards. And Mika Murphy, he goes forward a couple of yards. They're probably only 6 metres out now. And it's the other big prop, Mullapola. He goes to ground, comes back on the Southern side. Back to Rioto. Jack Leslie. What's Jack Leslie going to do? Takes the tackle. Nice tackle from Faliafaka. Ball comes back on their side, though, and it's Mika Murphy charging at the line. And I think he scored. Referee wasn't there in time, so it's been held up. Ball comes back on the Southern side. They're looking for numbers. McEwen's over under the bar. Try, and that'll be 22-7 at half-time. And this is very similar to last week, 22-7. Very good play from Southern. Kept the ball in hand, had numbers. McEwen, too much strength over under the bar.
Look, when Southern do it well, it's very hard to counter. And, you know, if they can continue to do this in the second half, it'll be a tough nut for Dunedin to crack. You know, when they get it right and they use their big ball runners, I've got to say I think the halfback playing very well for Southern. He's finding his big ball carriers, and they really aren't doing anything that you can get amongst Southern. It's just good, solid footy, very hard to counter.
And this will probably be half time. It is half time in the Kaikorai game, 26-7 at half time, and the score is now at Dunedin, as we know, is 22-7.
That's the half.
And they have got a mountain to climb, Dunedin. Remember, Tyree are down as well. So if Dunedin lose this game, Tyree lose this game, Dunedin are gone. So they've got some serious work to do. And we'll be back with you in the second half.
Thursday. That's good.
Nah, can you throw me that microphone? They try it 13 to 12 at half time. 26-7. Sorry, that's over Tyree Vasti 13 to 12. 26-7 Kike over Harbour, and it's 22 to 5 here at Kettle Park. As we're about to start, we've just started the second half, and I tell you what, Mark Scully, they've got a mountain to climb, Dunedin.
They sure have. They be interesting. I mean, they've done it last week, so they should have confidence. They should have faith in their own ability because they did exactly that last week. But we all know that Southern will not be wanting that to happen a second time. I talked to John before the game. Said he was very disappointed for them to let that lead slip last week. So I think you'll see a Southern side with a bit more steel second half. But there again, we see a line out like it's fallen well for Southern.
It's overthrown, but it comes back on the Southern side as Dunedin shuffled the numbers up. It's out into the back line. And it is, haven't mentioned his name, Henry Mitchell-Colley taking that forward. Again, that's a good hit.
Good tackling for Dunedin, who come out fired up. They made some good tackles.
That's a good solid hit from Charlie Perkins. The lead is leading his team up on that line. Don't let Mackenzie Hall run. And he gets dragged down on the 10-metre line. Ball comes back on the Southern side. Again, looking for a strong carry. Ball comes back on the Southern side. It's in the hands of Mike Mataafa. Takes it up to the 10-metre line. Ball comes back. Ryoto looking for a runner. He's found 13. And Paul Tupai. Ball comes back on the Southern side.
Good scavenge there from Dunedin. Great ball one.
That over. Josh Ritter not too sure what to do with it. Then goes forward. That's a nice leg drive from Josh Ritter.
He's been quiet, Ritter, by his standards this year,
today.
but who knows? Could be the second half could be his time to shine. Oscar could be on here.
Devin Bell puts the kick up in the air. Big Oscar running after that. That's well taken.
Great take by Leslie. Yep,
really good take from Leslie. Got some got big attention from Oscar Schmiduli. Ball comes back on the Southern side again. Einerson takes it forward. Good drive from Einerson. Good leg drive. But it could have been Corbin Agar. Ball comes back on the Southern side again. Dunedin did get their hands on the ball here somehow. The wee Japanese halfback puts it high in the air.
Beautiful kick. Very typical of the Japanese players, Paul. They tend to have very good skill sets, very dedicated, they train hard. That was a very nice kick, but well taken by Oscar.
Back to Faleafaga. Puts the kick down, but Jack Leslie waiting back there for that. Brings it forward towards halfway. He puts the kick high in the air. Is anybody going to catch that? Oscar, big Oscar, the winger for Dunedin. He takes it well. Holds it up to his forwards arrive. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side.
Of course, Jack Leslie's poise in the airport would be coming from the Commonwealth game gymnast mother.
We certainly wouldn't get it from his father.
Commonwealth gymnast.
And they turned it over again, Dunedin. That's just very poor play.
Oh, nice
that's
break from the halfback.
Very average play.
Still on his feet.
And Ryoko's just still going. But that is so poor from Dunedin at that breakdown. Ball comes back on the Southern side. Faleafaga tries to come around the side of that maul. Picked up again by McEwen. Goes to ground. He's been a standout, McEwen. But it's been turned over by Dunedin. Hami Toma got his hands on that ball. Southern tried to turn it over as well.
Penalty.
Referee says didn't let him go on the tackle. Penalty Dunedin.
So that'll be an incredibly frustrating penalty for the Southern. You know, they're right on attack. The best Dunedin were going to do was clear the ball probably inside their 22 from deep in the half. Now they get a penalty. Chance to kick it up towards halfway and feed the line out.
Faleafaga. Oh no, that's not a
pretty
great
average
kick. He's gained all of 9 metres in that kick. That's not a great clearance at all. But can they get their line out sorted out? That was their Achilles heel in the first spell.
No changes yet, Paul?
Nothing that I can see. I thought they changed their front row too early last week, Southern. They had an advantage in that first half. He was taken in the air too, but nobody called that.
It's a great sign though. Dunedin just dart the ball to 2 and win their line out. Hopefully they've got the message through. Tamura and
not difficult.
They've got the message through. Steve Martin would have had a thing or two to say about the line out.
Let's
make it simple.
That's a nothing kick. Absolutely nothing kick. Just went nowhere. Absolutely no. And he's just shrugging off tackle after tackle here. Muliapola. Ball comes back on the Southern side. Jack Leslie's got it. He's out into the midfield. Looking for runners. That's a nice pass out to Dwight. the flanker, the Ginga flanker. Still going, Dwight. Takes it down towards the 22. Dunedin get over the top of that, comes back on the southern side, however. That's a nice strong run from Magpies. And this time it's the big Matty Arthur who just rolls and rolls and rolls. Ball comes back on the southern side again. This time it's
penalty
Einerson.
advantage.
Referee's got another penalty to them. It could be offside. Ball comes back to southern again. Magpies looking for a runner. Found Matty Arthur. Ball goes to ground. Could have been a wee knock on there. Referee's come back for the penalty. What do they do here? Surely they take the three. Just build the pressure. He's not. He's kicking for the line.
Unusual decision, in my opinion, but kick to the corner. Good attacking opportunity. 5 or 6 metres out from the Dunedin line.
The way Dunedin have been playing, Mark, this is possibly the place to be. They just cannot get any phases going in this game.
Here's our first change, Paul. Southern number 8 gone.
He's been replaced by Penne.
That big Ned Penne, looking solid too.
Or is that Isaac Parada?
It doesn't. No, I think it's Penne. I'll have a look when he gets a bit closer.
So Southern attacking the Dunedin line. Again, they've overthrown it.
They've
but
got away with
it's
it.
gone to Taylor at the back. So both packs are guilty of being very average. And another penalty against Dunedin. Not releasing. What are they going to do here? They'll have to kick for the corner again. You can't go to the kick now. And Jack Leslie, they'll only be 5 metres out now, and Dunedin under some serious pressure. I think if they score here, this game could be over.
I've got to say, Paul, in a cruel twist, the wind is almost favouring Southern again.
It is.
It's turned around across the field, almost a gentle breeze into the corner where the line out is now.
Well, that's been well found by that little midget from little midget man coming around number 9. Throws the ball to McKeown.
Is it Roy Daniels?
Well, it could be Roy Daniels' grandson. And here we go. Where do they go here? They've overthrown their last 2 line-outs as well. But all you've got to do is hit either 2 or 4 and go for the drive. They've hit they've found the big Dwight, the number 7, and now they get the drive going. Can they score here? Can they score here and put this game out of Dunedin's reach? And they are not far away. They're only a couple of metres out. They drive at the line, they score. No, Withy's having a look. He's given the try. And I think that's pretty much game over.
Yeah, look, simple stuff. They kicked the ball into the corner. Dunedin infringed. They got a penalty. They backed themselves to hit the corner again. And really, when you get that big pack moving, there was nothing Dunedin could do about it. They really short of collapsing it. And 4 marks to Southern. It mightn't be champagne footy, but it's winning footy, and they're playing it very well.
Bizarrely, if he gets this kick over, that was the score at the game last week, 29-7 at half time. If Jack Leslie can nail this, it'll be 29-7. Can Dunedin? 29-5. I've written down 7 by mistake. 29-5. And it's a pretty simple kick after the way Leslie's been kicking today. And I tell you what, the Dunedin fans will now be praying for Tyree to win.
Down the middle.
Converted Leslie.
The first thing Dunedin's got to attack this kick-off. If they simply kick the ball back to Southern, down 29-5, they've got to get up and contest. They need some ball in hand. They need to play some footy down in Southern's end and build some pressure.
And just update round the grounds. Tyree have gone in front, 19-13. Must have got a converted try early in the second half. So 19-13, Tyree over Varsity.
That's becoming a very big result for the Dunedin. Good kick. They've gone short. They've contested, and Oscar Smith's taken it. Finally, some innovation for Dunedin.
It was Joe Cook, but he was
good
work. But again, they immediately just lose the ball at the breakdown. If I've said it once, I've said it 6 times. Every time they take it to the breakdown, they lose the ball. But luckily, this time they've said that Southern have knocked it on from that.
Yeah, their carry's been weak in the breakdown. But again, you go back to the fact, big strong pack for Southern. If you don't carry the ball and look after it, they'll take it off you.
So what's happened here? They've brought on, looks like Dunedin have brought on none other than Jay Davis, the young flanker, and another Kings boy's come on. He's on the side of the scrum. Has Perkins gone off?
Yep, Harmy's there, and so is Redder. So it looks like Charlie Perkins is gone. Jay Davis had a game on the wing for the Dunedin Prem 2s last week, Paul, and played very well.
He's an athlete from. He's a 400 metre runner.
Yep, he can run and pass. He's good in the loose. In fact, I think nothing wrong with giving him a run. Dunedin's got to roll the dice. Some fresh legs might be just what they need.
Just when you ask for Joe Cook to come forward, Joe Cook comes forward and did well. Found a runner in Harmy. Goes to ground just on the 22. Josh Redder trying to get himself into the game. Hasn't been in the game much today. Paku goes to ground. They've lost 5 metres there on that, but ball comes back again. No, Charlie Perkins is still on, so it must be one of the locks. It could be, I'd say it could be, looking at this, could be Ed Whiteoff.
Yeah, because the other one's there.
And they go wide to Cook. Oh, Cook found a runner, and then he got absolutely buried. That was Jay Davis out there.
Yep. Penalty, though, at the breakdown.
And Dunedin will have to put this into the corner, Mark. They can't afford to take kicks at goal now. 29-5 down.
Which they've done.
And this will be a 5-metre lineup. But they're going to miss, they'll miss Ed White's bulk. So Charlie Perkins has gone to lock, and Jay Davis has gone to blindside. And we had an update round the grounds. Message from James Collum. Thank God you have a very well coached Prem 2 side.
Excellent point, James. Excellent point.
Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Harmy Toma. He goes. He's only probably 2-3 metres out, looking for another runner. They found Charlie Perkins.
Again,
still going, offside. Charlie. He's dragged down, probably only a half a yard short. They're looking for they found it, and they've found Redder. And Redder's gone. He's close, but still hasn't found the line. And then they've knocked it on.
Another
Again,
penalty.
That's untidy from Dunedin.
Look, you'd have to say there's so many penalties in the game that it ruins the game, but you can't fault the referee. Both sides continue to get offside, and he continues to penalise them. Good luck for Logan Withy. I think he's doing a good job. They've got to take that metre. Both sides continually infringing. Well,
they've been, as you've pointed out, mate, they've been very much on that line or over that line, both sides for most of the game. Remember, this is 29-5. Dunedin have to score here to have any chance of getting back into this game.
Still no changes in the back line, although I think Dunedin have got 3 halfbacks on the bench, haven't they?
They've got plenty of halfbacks. They're too high. They're too high.
Tim Hogan.
They're actually going nowhere here. Now they get it roll. Harry Press has got it. They drive. They've lost it. They've lost it again. That's so untidy. That is such an awful display from Dunedin. That's got to be at least 7 turnovers from Ruck and Maul.
Good defence from Southern, though. Again, their big pack rallied. Dunedin couldn't get the Maul moving. When they tried to break away and split, they lost the ball to ground. So really, full marks to Southern. They stopped Dunedin advancing. And that's where the mistake came.
22-13. Tyree up over Varsity now. There's Tyree starting to put that Varsity side away. And again, we've got an injury break. Just remember, it's 22-13, Tyree over Varsity. We think it's still 26-7, Kaikorai over Harbour. And 29-5, Southern over Dunedin. And Dunedin, to be fair, Mark, they haven't looked like it today. I've never seen such. They're normally, when they do get a roll on, they're quite good, but they've turned the ball over at ruck after ruck after ruck.
Yes, perhaps it's time for Mark Grieve-Dunn to come on, Paul, and steady up the back of that more with his experience.
Well, you know, he's dragged out of retirement, dragged out of the bath apparently on Thursday night.
He's bathing the kids.
He was bathing the kids, and he's had to come out and go to practice on a cold, damp Thursday night at Dunedin. Again, Davis over the top of that. Has he got that ball? Yes, he...
Brilliant. Yep.
He did. Well
Jay
done.
Davis, great at the
Jay
breakdown.
Davis did well. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Harmy Toma. Again, Paku raging up into the line. He's got to hold on to the ball. They do this time. Again, it's in the hands of Redder. Redder goes forward. Still 6 or 7 metres out, looking for another runner. Found Harry Press. Oh, then they just threw it away. But luckily it's been picked up by Kay Scott. But again, that's so untidy. They're very untidy, very loose carries. Harry Press again charges. Good defence from Southern. And he's lost it in the tackle, referee says illegally.
Yep.
And he's going to have a chat with the Southern forwards. He's called out Captain Harry Taylor. He said, you've had 2 or 3 here. That'll be your last one, son, I would imagine. Yes, he's given them the message.
It's a penalty out in front, 10 metres. I assume they'll take the scrum. It's probably the scrum's been solid enough to trust, or they may go to the touch. Now they've started winning their own line-outs because they've been throwing the ball to the right place.
No, it looks like they're going to scrum,
Taking
Mark.
the scrum.
They're going to the scrum. Looks like Harbour coming back into that game. 26-21 now to Kaikoura over Harbour. 26-21.
You'd have to say though, Paul, if Tyree go through unbeaten today, from what I've seen of them, all of these sides would have to lift their game to contest anything with Tyree in the latter stages of the season. They really have been head and shoulders, haven't they?
I've seen them play twice this year, Tyree, and they are, as you know, brutally efficient, and they've added a bit of height back into their line-out today with Josh Hill coming back from Melbourne. So, look, there's no weaknesses in that team, and they've got a match winner in the midfield, and Mitchell Scott, who to me is still he would be the best midfielder in the competition. Well, he just about lost that, then threw it forward. That's just awful.
Yeah, they've crossed the line, but after a knock-on, a short pass. Though the referee has been slow to call the knock-on. For all that, he's having a word with his touch judge. Unless his ruled it's come off his chest, it certainly looked like a knock-on to me.
But again, he got that pass behind him, Faleafaga. Was lucky to hold on to it, then tried to throw a miracle pass.
No, he's called the knock-on correctly.
And now they've just turned the ball over yet again.
John Leslie's blood pressure would have been boiling there if he thought he missed that knock-on, Paul.
Yes, both teams on one side today. I did ask them why that was the case, and apparently that's what you do in quarterfinals football. But I've never seen it here before in the quarterfinal. But that's the new rule.
They're in the sun, though.
They are in the sun. We're in the shade. 29-5. There's all been one-way traffic in this game. The only saving grace for Dunedin, possibly they might get a game next week, if Tyree can hold out varsity.
And it would be against Tyree.
And
if Tyree win.
Yes, it will. At Tyree. Tyree on a test match day. That's a nice kick. Another nice clearance. Faleafaga's waiting back for that. He's going to go to the line out though. No, he's not. Goes to ground on the 10-metre line. They've turned that over, haven't they?
Penalty.
Oh, I thought he had all rights to that.
I thought he was okay until our halfback got his hands on the ball. Once the halfback's hands are on the ball, you've really got to let the halfback play the ball.
So
it was a fair contest up to then. He's probably a bit unlucky, actually.
Kicks it down inside the 22. Line out to form 3 or 4 metres inside the southern 22. But really, time drifting away for Dunedin. Though there's probably 20 minutes gone here already, and they haven't scored a point since half time, and they let varsity Southern get another 7-pointer.
Thorn Park's on at first 5, is he, Paul? Devon Bell's also gone, so we've got Hogan at halfback. We've got Thorn Park at first 5. Look at who we've lost. Have we lost AJ?
They've taken AJ off. They've
double change at 9 and 10.
They're throwing the subs on now. Thorn Parks, the mercurial Thorn Parks, the Otago cricketer. And they go to the back. They've won that one though. And Thorn Parks takes it forward. First carry. Hogan looks for a runner. Found Redder. Inside to Paku. Paku straight through. Paku scores. Just a simple in pass from Josh Redder. One missed tackle and Paku too much gas.
I think that's the thing we've seen today, Paul. You know, the tries we've seen haven't been spectacular. They've just come from sensible rugby where they've taken a good target up the middle. In that case, they swept back to the blind with good numbers. It's pretty simple stuff, but I think that's what we see. As a classic example was in the Crusaders Blues final. You went back and looked for vintage moments. There weren't many, but the Crusaders simply just choked the Blues out of life, really, just by doing the basics, and that's what we've seen today. The tries that have been scored have just been through good basic rugby, holding the phases and building pressure.
And it looks like Paku's decided to take his own conversion. Obviously with Faleafaga off the field, no Thomas Hannam Carter today. This is the first time I've seen Ben Paku kick in Dunedin colours. I think he was the goal kicker though for the Marcos. He may have drained that, and he has.
Good boy, down the middle. Yep. 29-12. So the comeback might be on. A couple of big changes for Southern too. A couple of big hefty lads coming on there. Some good size. Southern swap like for like.
As I go back to online. 29. So 29 to 12 here. Remember, it's close down at Harbour and Kike as they kick down towards the 22. Jay Davis waiting under that, but Big Oscar just reaches over his shoulder and takes it himself and goes to ground just outside just inside the 22. Hogan, the replacement halfback, on, looking for a runner. He's found Hami Toma, the Dunedin number 8. Ball comes back to Hogan. He's found Thorne Parks, and Thorne Parks puts it only 10, 12 metres outside the 22.
An adequate clearance. It just gives Southern a good opportunity.
And Harbour back in front, Mark. Then Harbour are now up 28-26 over Kaikorai. Kaikorai could be the team on their way out.
Just another point today, Paul. I think we continue to watch this young Japanese halfback for Southern. He's been very tidy, in my opinion. He's been a bit quiet in the second half, but he's done nothing wrong. He's been good with his clearances.
As they get it out into the back line.
Attack.
Gene Tiamo takes it forward. Hasn't had much opportunity today. They're looking for runners again. Thorne Parks has got it. He fires it out to Charlie Perkins. They've got
to go straight.
They go wide to Ritter, who was well tackled by McEwen on halfway right in front of us.
He's impressed me, McEwen, Paul. He's been round the track. He's big and strong.
Well, he scored 2 tries now, Mark. He did score that try. There's another turnover. Again, it's a loose carry.
He's offside. That's poor refereeing that time.
Ball comes back, and then Southern have picked it. Oh, no, there's some very untidy football there. But Jay Davis is away. Has he got the pace? Jay Davis. Jay Davis scored.
Yeah, great try. Dunedin stormed back.
You'd have to say there was
the comeback sign of the Dunedin. The Dunedin supporters are on their feet here.
Well, actually, they're the Southern supporters on the side of the ground. But to be fair, there was
Southern Dunedin boys down here.
There was 2 or 3 knock-ons there. There was a couple of offsides, but it probably evened itself out. And 29 to 17. Jay Davis, you're right, Mark. He showed a clean pair of heels late in that movement.
Yeah, look, I think it's they've got some new players on, a change. The tide is turning. You get the feeling that if the big Southern forwards can take control for the last 20, but they're tiring. When you've got a pack the size of Southern, they are big boys, and I think Dunedin should now be looking to speed the game up. They've got fresh legs on the inside backs. They've probably got a few more changes they could make. I see Rowan Wiggins gone to the sideline, as has Harry Press. So a couple more changes up front for Dunedin, but they need to speed this game up now.
They are very young, that pack that's out there now for Dunedin. They are young indeed. They've brought on, looks like they've brought on, we'll just talk through the skip. Parku again, it's ropey, and it's away. So at 29-17, with probably, I would suggest, possibly 14 minutes to go in the game. So Dunedin have brought on, from my reckoning, they've brought on their replacement hooker, who was Fatai Kaloi, and they've brought on Jack Clement from Tubi Town, the prop from Tubi Town.
Look, Jack Clement's been a good product of Kings. Unfortunately, he hasn't had a game for the Prem 2s this year. He slipped through my fingers. He goes straight from Tubi Town to the Prems.
I don't know how that works.
Well, that comes down to poor club captaincy from Cam Burrows, in my opinion. But he's a very good footballer. He's been in the Otago age groups all the way through. Handy footballer, and he won't let himself down in this last 15
Big
minutes.
Oscar.
Oh, no, that's ridiculous play there from Thorne Parks. Threw the pass back inside the park. Right, I know they've got to roll the dice, but you can still play the percentages a little bit. Southern on attack right out in front of the sticks. Their big boppers go to work there. Good defence, though, from Dunedin.
Ball comes back on the Southern side, and again it's Muliapolo who's been a tower of strength for them today. Rowan Wingham made the tackle. Ball comes back on the Southern side. They go wide. Out to the midfield. Mitchell Colley takes it towards the 22, goes to ground, comes back on the Southern side. If they could score here, they put Dunedin away. That's a nice break. Dunedin try to get over the top of that. No, back in the hands of the big number 16. He's a powerful looking man. Ball comes back on the Southern side. Jack Leslie's got it, finds a runner on the inside. Comes back into traffic though and picked up by Dunedin. Now they got over the top of that, but no, they've got it back Southern. Back to the wee Japanese halfback. Again, they go forward. Another big man, and that's another powerful run. He's going to go all the way. Dragged down.
19, who's he, Paul?
I think that might be Ned Peno. There might have been there's a penalty.
Yeah, this could be crucial. This would put Southern outside the magical 14 points here, and it's a yellow card for Joe Cook. Joe Cook in the bin, a kickable penalty. Although I think Southern might go to the corner. It's been their play of the day, but I'd have to be tempted if I was coaching. 12 points up, 3 points now would be crucial. Put Southern outside 2 tries, but there's an injury break. We wait to see whether they go to the corner or whether they take the penalty.
And it's now Tyree starting to run away with that game. Out there, it's 20. I'll just check that score again as I'm just sending the score through to the ODT. The score is 29-13. So 29-13, Tyree over Varsity. Last we've had was 28-26, Harbour over Kaikorai. But that's a very tight old affair. So right now, those 2 teams down there, whoever loses that game down there, won't make the top 4 the way things sit. So there's an injury. Now, just trying to work out who's actually come on here, Mark. So I think that...
well, this is the big guy that made the break. It's limping away now. It was short and sweet. I think it's number 19, Paul.
Well, it's supposed to be Ned, but that's not Ned Penne, is it?
No, Ned's in 20.
He's in
Ned's
20.
Definitely on in 20.
So that's, I'm just not
that
sure.
That could be Isaac Parada. It looks like Isaac Parada.
That could be Parada.
Yep, so he came on and made that lovely break.
And now he's off.
But now he's hobbled off with it looks like an ankle injury.
It looks like they're bringing back Corbin Agar, the starting lock, and they have, and they're going to go to the line out.
Interesting call. They must have been tempted to put Dunedin, put the score outside 14 points. They back their line out.
But Southern are looking, still looking like very likely in this game, and I think there's probably only 8-9 to go now. And that's a good initial drive from Dunedin. They've held them up. Now Southern go forward. Now they get the roll on.
Mackenzie Hall's going to add his considerable box to the breakdown.
And they drag it towards the line. Another penalty coming, and they're going to score here. All they've got to do is hold on to the ball. But it's
penalty try, Paul, under the sticks. Penalty try, that's the match. Yeah, look, hard to judge that. Southern certainly had the way on. We're far back enough. And a yellow card, there you go. He's also found the offender for the collapse, so probably a pretty fair decision, really. Southern certainly had the way on. They're looking like scoring. I don't think we can criticise that decision. And a yellow card.
No, that was a try. There was a try for all money, and Dunedin did collapse at a half a yard short. So but perhaps the yellow card was a bit tough as well. But anyway,
yeah, he obviously identified the offender.
So 36-17. This game is over. As Thorn Parks kicks it down towards the 22, into the hands of the big Mulla Polar.
So exactly what we said might happen, Paul. Just as things looked potentially a repeat of last week's comeback, the big Southern Pack's taken control. They've brought on some strategic subs. They've got busy, and really they've shut Dunedin out up front. A gallant performance from Dunedin in the last 15 minutes, but really the power of the Southern forward pack and the sensible game plan they've stuck to has carried the day for them, really.
And they've held them up. That's, again, very average play from Dunedin. They are just not in this game. Southern just too big and too strong. They just they made mincemeat of Shepherd, and they ripped the ball clean off him. Taylor takes it forward, tries to get the miracle offload away, and does so. And now they're going to spore out wide, and it's the second 5 looking for a runner, but he found the Dunedin player. Amper, they're going to go over and score anyway, and I'd say that might be...
That's the winger again, left winger.
Left winger in for the try.
With the mullet.
Yes, and that, of course, is none other than Dylan Hook.
Yeah, well, that came really from Dunedin having to chance their hand. Tried to make a lot of footy inside their 22, but you've got to take it to Southern. Their big forwards have hit the rucks, have forced turnovers. Dunedin have perhaps been a wee bit weak in the carry, and there's the result. As Mark Grieve done, storms on. Too little, too late.
Yes, there's certainly been only one team in this game today, and they have absolutely outclassed Dunedin. I don't know where Dunedin go. They're going to be playing, looks like they're playing Tyree next week, because Tyree are now up 36-13. So they've certainly put Varsity to bed in that game.
So what's the likely scenario, Paul? Tyree to host Dunedin?
Tyree to host Dunedin, Southern to host, at this stage,
No, Harbour would host Southern, wouldn't they? Because Southern have come through 5th here.
Oh, yes, no, you're right. So Harbour will host Southern if they get through.
What's the score of the Harbour?
Well, it's 28-26 is the last we had to Harbour. I haven't heard any more scores as he kicks it from the sideline and he's missed that. So
in actual fact, Southern will be hosted by the winner of that game.
Correct.
Is the guts of it.
Yep, because they are 5th.
And Dunedin would head out to Tyree if the scores stay the way they are. Certainly there's only one winner here at Kettle Park, 41-17. Southern completely dominant.
Yeah, like Dunedin just haven't been in this today. I mean, they were pretty impressive last week, but Southern just haven't allowed them into the game. Tony Solomona's come on. That's a very distinctive hair colouring he's got on today, Mark Scully.
Soft shoes Solomona, lovely step. Yes,
you certainly can't miss him.
He's got what could only be described as a ginger afro.
Well, it's sort of a bit of orange in it.
It's very young Clark Fruish actually.
Yes, very young
curly
Clark Frew.
Ginger hair over the Dunedin jersey. Shades of Clark Frew, the outstanding young Dunedin open side from the late 80s and 90s, known as the Auburn Terror.
Yeah, who turned himself into a hooker of only average repute. as he Harmy Toma takes it forward. Thorne Parks puts a wee kick over the top. Solomona's looking for it, but he's well done by the wee halfback.
Brilliant cover. Jack Leslie also. No, he's taking the touch.
Why have Dunedin failed to get to the ball to their fastest player today, Mark? He just hasn't touched it.
Well, I'd have to say that the defence has been incredibly flat, but be that as it may, look, I think it's something Dunedin. I don't think Dunedin midfield are great distributors, Paul. They're big, strong guys. They take the ball up. I think Dunedin need to develop a ball-playing midfielder, someone that can pass.
And big Mark Grieve Dunn
soars up,
takes it well. I've just had a text from you, Tate, who said, is Mark Grieve Dunn the saviour? And again, they've just continue to give away the ball at the breakdown. That's got to be a dozen now. That time they were done for sealing off, but every breakdown they've been to, they have turned over the ball to Dunedin. They've got some serious work to do at breakdown time.
Well, this is the modern rugby. He who wins the collision wins the game, and you've got to say, at the breakdown, Southern have been far superior today. Again, a very good kick from Jack Leslie down into the corner. One last chance for Southern to rub some salt in the wound.
And the wee number 9 with the absolutely outstanding mullet's going to collect that ball.
Yes, he should get a bottle of fizz for his performance today.
Look at that mullet. That's a mullet. Righto, so here we go. Mark Grieve Dunn taking charge at this line out, but it's Southern to throw. And it's Taylor to throw. With Taylor to call, Taylor to throw.
So the Japanese halfback's retired to be replaced by Matt Horn. He's had a very good day. Don't know much about him. Don't know where he's come from. But he's had a very good game here today. Rump the old line out, which is not straight, surely. Yeah, Dunedin have the ball, so they're playing the advantage for the not straight.
Solomona's picked it up with the distinctive haircut. Gets the ball out wide to Shepherd, who drags it forward a couple of metres. Looking for a runner. Jack Clement from the 2B Town refuses to play for the Prem 2s. Ball comes back to Thorne Parks, who puts it deep down to the 22, but straight down the throat of Jack Leslie.
You'd have to ask why you kicked that at this stage of the game, but
Solomona gets up and makes the tackle. Thorne Parks try to steal
it. Great clean from Southern. They've dominated the breakdown.
Yeah, no, they're brutally efficient.
That was that big ginger Lucy you talked about there. He just absolutely cleared that ruck.
What's that for?
Offside again. It's been the story of the day. Like I said, we can't grizzle about penalties if the teams keep infringing.
Hold the phone. It's 29-28 to Kike. Are Kaikaro going to make the top 4 and ruin Jack O'Day's day?
There can't be long to go.
29-28 to Kike. It's 36-20 to Tyree, so you would say that they are the number 1 qualifier. 41-7 here, with Jack Leslie finally having a kick at goal.
Yeah, this would put them outside the 14 again. In fact, it's not. They're outside the 24. So yeah,
I think
this must be full time. I'd say the Southern boys have decided why risk an injury when they're through next week. Let's just suck up the last minute or two.
And I tell you what, Dunedin have got some work to do this week. If they want to be competitive against Tyree, they're going to have to be a hell of a lot better than they've been today.
They may have to call in Super Coach Ed Baker, having won the women's
and
competition,
Rhea
having a clear desk.
Struck it pretty well. I think he's dragged. No, he may have just dragged it. He has just dragged it to the right. Oscar.
Dunedin open it up for one last throw of the dice.
Oscar, he's had absolute nothing to feed off today.
He's fed off scraps, hasn't he?
Mark Reeve Dunn only knows one way. Hard man to bring down. Goes forward a few metres. Thorn Parks thinks he's Mark Reeve Dunn trying to hit that hole. With Fotai, the prop hooker from the Colts, also out of Kings. Dunedin gets scragged behind the advantage line. Hogan does well to get that back. Thorn Parks goes in and plays halfback, but he is a halfback. And they're looking for a runner. Lotu Laliga, who's probably been one of Dunedin's best today. He's probably one of the few. I'm struggling to see anybody else's play. Well, that's a nice kick over the top from Hogan, but that's pretty much hasn't found touch. Leslie's got it.
You certainly get the feeling now, Paul, both teams have perhaps got an eye on next week. The game is...
Good hands from the big lock.
Yeah, good touch.
And ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Can they score a last try to get some sort of respectability back into the game? Thorn Parks finds the hole, finds the runner. Mark Reeve Dunn. Look at the power of the man. Storming through. Should have put him on earlier.
Uli Schmidt.
Big Oscar. Can he score? Dragged down.
Just short of the line. And
there's a try.
Yes.
Oh, referee wasn't there. This time they scored it.
Hogan scores a consolation.
So Hogan goes over for Dunedin to score the last try of the game. That'll take Dunedin into the 20s. 17-22. So kick to come. And so what was the score we decided? It was 41-22 at this stage with the kick to come. In fact, I think they might have actually scored that prior to that, but referee it was still coming around the side of that ruck. So Hogan had another wee dab and went over and scored it right in front of him. And it'll be Ben Paku to put the final coating on this game.
Just seeing the water carrier there, Paul. How far away is he?
I understand Tommy Cloud.
He must be close to coming back.
I think he's back next week, according to my information. And they need all the help they can get after today's very, very, very average performance. But you can't take it away from Southern. They've been too good, too big and strong up front, and they've been brutally efficient when finishing. Ben Paku right in front of us, and he has just dragged that away. Referee says we're still going.
There's still time to run. Can't be long to go now.
41-22.
Gotta say the big Southern forwards though, Paul, they've still got a spring in their step as they run up to this kick-off.
Just put this through to...
Leslie to kick off again. Shadows lengthening. Kicks long. Again. Taken by Paku.
Paku with a nice wee run. 41-22. Can Dunedin score it? They haven't turned it over. Red has still got it. Picked it up and played on. They finally got a decent clean out. Got a runner. Thorn Parks went nowhere.
Monstered. Again, it's the big... He'd be one of the players of the day, Paul, the big ginger flanker.
Yeah, Dwight has been tough for them today.
Yeah, he's been abrasive.
Mark Reeve Dunn carries 5 or 6 with him.
The ruck's hard.
Harmy still trying to go forward. They need to get the ball wide. Can they get the ball to Big Oscar? Joe Cook hits the ruck, and he loses it forward. Again, a terrible carry from Dunedin. Yeah, they have done that all day.
Big Ned Penne up the guts, only knows one way.
Thorn Parks rips it off him clean.
It's come clean in the tackle.
There was a couple of guys playing that on the ground. He's a mile offside. And then Hogan puts it deep. And the big winger goes back looking for that. They go out in the midfield, and it's the second 5. Is he going to find touch and have the game over? Mark Reeve Dunn waiting for it. Oh, I was hoping he'd just have a go. Paku.
Offside Southern, inside the 10 metre, so they are playing under advantage.
They're looking for numbers out wide.
A bit academic now, really. Good hands. Got to straighten up.
Jay Davis. Hogan gets to it. Looks for a runner. Finds the big, looking for a runner there, couldn't find him. They're going blind. Shepherd smacks it into the 22. Goes to ground, comes back on the Dunedin side. Again, Lotu Laliga gets it out wide. Nice hands from Retta. He finds a hole, Retta, and then gets dragged down by the man Mark Scully just talked about. Dwight got round the shoulders. The wee beautiful feet from Solomona.
Soft shoe Solomona.
And he goes to ground again. Again looking for runners. They probably shouldn't have gone that way. They had nobody there, and Grieve Dunn just found too many numbers.
It's been the story of the day, though, just both sides offside.
Joe Cook going to score the line. Can Redder get over and score? He's held up. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side, but it's slow. They've gone to ground. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. Can they score here to finish this off? They're looking for runners. I think they might have butchered that. Jay Davis has got it, but he puts Shepherd in the hole. Shepherd, can he score? No, he can't. Still a yard to go. Lotu Laliga, and he deserved that try. Lotu Laliga goes over to score. Final score will be 41-27 or 41-29. So Lotu Laliga, the try for Dunedin, but this is all last-minute stuff.
I mean, Dunedin have showed some good fight comeback, and they'll take their confidence into next week. But really, this game was over 20 minutes ago. The big Southern pack were just too strong. They shut Dunedin out. Yeah,
there's they had some really good players today. I thought Mullapola has been really, really strong for them. I think McEwen has been strong for them.
Dwight.
And Dwight, the number 7. Okay, so Thorne Parks to take this kick just to finish this game. 41-27. Can he make it 41-29? And he can't. He's dragged it away. Referees, we've still got time on it. Still got time to go.
This game just keeps giving.
Just keeps on playing. Full time. Kaikorai win 29-28. So Kaikorai through, Harbour gone. And in the other game, Tyree versus Varsity, 43-20 currently.
So on that, Dunedin travel to Tyree. Southern travel to Kaikorai.
Kaikorai finished. I can't believe that. Kaikorai have actually ended up finishing second. Nice take from Paku. I'll just go back to my mate Ruben. And Dan put it down in the midfield. Who's got it? Can we get the ball back at any stage? They've got it. They've got it out to Thorne Park to put a wee one through for Solomona to run onto. Brilliantly picked up from Solomona. Then flicks the big pass up to Mark Grieve Dunn, storming up towards the 10-metre line. Comes back on the Dunedin side. Thorne Parks fires it into the midfield. Lotu Laliga, Hami Toma hits Redder. But Southern done well. They've measured that well to get across and put numbers into the breakdown. Ball comes back to Hogan. He finds Fotu. Fotu puts a nice wee pass to Thorne Parks. Still going, Thorne Parks. Goes to ground.
Nice break.
Right on halfway. Looking for a halfback, Oscar Uli Schmidt. Joe Cook still going. Takes it down just outside the 22. Can they score yet another try late? Rowan Wingham. Good run from Wingham. Still going, Wingham.
Great break.
He's found Lotu Laliga. He's been everywhere in the last 15 minutes, Laliga. Jay Davis takes it into traffic. They're only probably 6 or 7 metres out, but that's good play from Southern to bring that to ground. Ball comes back to Dunedin again. Good defence from Southern. Ball coming back slowly. Hogan's got it. Finds Thorne Parks. They go wide. Back to the man with the twinkling feet. Still going, Solomona. Then goes to ground. Didn't really go anywhere. Well picked up by Hogan. Ball comes back on the Dunedin side. It's very, very 6s and 7s. Good hands. That's got that wide to Joe Cook. He's found that. Redder goes over. Referee says try.
Surely this is it.
Redder the try. 41-32. Surely this must be the last kick of the game.
Interesting thought though, Paul, as we look forward to next week. So Tyree, very experienced coach in Jason McDonald. Southern have come through under the guidance of John Leslie and Case Muse, and Kaikorai with Andy Hunter, who's been around a long time. You know, I do think the experience of the coaching can come through later in the year. And one of my concerns with Otago rugby is we see so many guys coming at the representative level who haven't done the yards in club rugby. You know, I'd like to see some of these, good club coaches rewarded with higher honours. It's a factor whether you like it or not. You've got to lose games to win games. And we are seeing that experience and the coaching come to the fore. Really,
well, I mean,
the semi-finalists.
and if you haven't coached, Mark, to have actually had where you've You've run a team that's lost, loses 5 or 6 on the trot. It's what do you do? It's how do you turn it around? How do you make the difference? Dunedin lost by, the final score was 41-32, let's be honest, but they weren't really in that second half. They scored 2 or 3 late tries, but that 41-32 flatters them. So what have Dunedin got to do now to turn it around to go out and face Tyree next week?
Well, look, I don't know the answer to that, Paul, straight off. In fact, look, at the end of the day, Tyree have got everything to lose. They've been the front runners. They're unbeaten. They've scored 5 tries, I think, every match bar 1 against Zingaree. They're the team to beat. So in that sense, Dunedin have got nothing to lose playing them. But you're right, I think they need some spark, really. I mean, let's face it, they didn't really look likely today. Southern choked them up front, and you can only play as well as the opposition lets you. And Southern were big and strong, and they just played smart footy. They played within their structures and in their limitations, which is exactly what Tyree will do. So unless Dunedin can find some spark from somewhere, there's every chance that Tyree will just choke them again out there.
Righto, so there it is, all over here. It's 27 to Dunedin, 41 to Southern. Southern go through to play Kaikorai, who won a cliffhanger over Harbour, 29 to 28. And Tyree too strong for varsity in that second half, 43 to 20. And they take on a shell-shock Dunedin next week. And that's it from here. We'd just like to thank our major sponsor, Chris Gallagher, with COVID in Melbourne. He's the only one that's actually watched this transmission today. So I hope you get well soon, mate.
Roger Brocklebank with a huge smile on his face as he comes past the commentary point.
They're looking very smug, the Southern supporters, as they walk past here. Anyway, that's it from us today. We're out.
He's always talking shit.